Hey, what's up? It's your boy Carcino, man. Let's talk some wrestling, man. All right, let's go. WWF. I grew up on wrestling. You guys know that. Grew up on all this, man. We've been watching this for a long time. We watched a lot of this develop. We watch a lot of people envelop in this game, fizzle out, what have you. But this is the truth behind a lot of people in this mess that I might have to do another part. It's so insane. The Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, this beef. The excellence of execution versus the Heartbreak Kid himself, aka the showstopper. So, anyway, Shawn Michaels is the Heartbreak Kid. They start breaking him up from Marty Jannetty, and the Rockers are broken up. Bret Hart broke up from the Hart Foundation, and now Bret is just doing his own thing. His career is taking off. They split up from the Hart Foundation. Jim Neidhart is married into the family to one of Bret's sisters, so he's his brother-in-law. Bret's other sister is married to another wrestler, Davey Boy Smith. Stu Hart is the dad, former soccer player from Canada. And pro wrestling has been in their family for a very long time, very schooled. So Brett he can move and do things in the ring that was hardly ever seen at that time, as far as pulling off moves, execution. Watching him and Macho Man have a match was incredible to watch. It was a very exciting fight to watch. Um, I think at this point, the crossroads was being met here. I kind of touched on it light when I was going over the Vince McMahon feud with Bret Hart, because to make a long story short, I'm sure what I'm gonna try is gonna be way too late for that. Bret Hart always wanted to be the man, and Hulk Hogan was that guy, and no one was gonna be Hogan. But he's like, look, you got to start grooming the next guy, and the fans know it's me. Everybody, the wrestling fans know Bret Hart is that guy. I can hold this down. Next thing you know, Shawn Michaels comes into play. And they're like, I don't know. We might have to give this to Shawn. Shawn Michaels is incredible. And the Heartbreak Kid, the girls are loving him, and his charisma, he was so charismatic. His monologues is getting a little better, but he was so charismatic because, most of the time he was on drugs. Unfortunately, at that time, he was basically on drugs. He would party, go out, do some drugs, and do a show. And one night they went out, hanging out, and here comes Sonny. Sonny came in the game with Chris, and Sonny is like one of the girls who caused the biggest riff in the history of WWE. She single-handedly crippled WWE. She done so much damage with these athletes that I don't even. There have been other girls that has done the same things, but nobody has gotten away with so much sabotage at a high level. And what I mean by that is when I say sabotage, Tami is her real name, but Tami, that Sonny, decided, she was a fun girl. She was really enjoying it. She had a lot of personality. She really sold the sexiness and the flirtatious things that the fans loved. She played her part to the T. She was animated. She wanted to be a manager. She wanted to be the it girl, but then she really didn't. Just her ambitions changed from night to day. She wanted it at this point, and then she really go party when the show is over. The show does not over; it continues. She wants to party. She wants to do drugs. She wants to do pills, allegedly. She wants to she wants to drink, and sooner or later, this led to her meeting other people that do the same thing. The Heartbreak Kid. Now, before the Heartbreak Kid got a piece of what was going on, before all of this happened, there was a huge rumor about Bret the Hitman Hart and Sonny. That it was even done in a monologue building up a fight between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, where he actually mentions it. I know you've been having some sunny days, but she's telling me you can't even last 10 minutes. And that wasn't part of the monologue. That wasn't part of what Shawn Michaels was supposed to say. He just actually put that in the monologue. It caught Bret off guard because it's very unprofessional. He was already, you know, battling the rumors that him and Sonny were messing around, and his wife's like, you know, this is becoming too strong. Other wrestlers is like, I don't know. Now, Davey Boy, who's his brother-in-law, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, he's right there backing up Bret Hart in this whole situation because but he had to be quiet because that's his brother-in-law. He was the one that was sleeping with Sonny. So Davey Boy sleeping with Sonny. And Davey Boy is like caring about her, telling her, look, I'm gonna leave my wife. We're having problems, and it's just that, Brett's her brother, Owen Hart and all them. I'm really cool with those guys. We got a clique called the Hart Foundation. Things are going really good here. And, things are just not good at home with me and the wife, his sister. So he just didn't want to rock the boat. So they kept everything under wraps. So she ends up basically leaving him and messing around with Shawn Michaels. This made the feud even more hot between the two because Vince McMahon sided with Shawn Michaels in the situation because Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart couldn't stand each other at the time. And Shawn Michaels is like, look, your time has come and it is gone. This is my era now. And Vince loved Shawn Michaels. You don't understand how Vince and that guy thought because Shawn was so good at the business and the wrestling. He understood. He wasn't really selfish. He could sell it. He could take a beating better than anybody. He was the greatest showman in the ring that they could be. He came in one night completely gone out of his mind, drunk, messed up, partying all night. And they had a show, and Vince was going to fire him one time. They were like, you got to fire this kid. He's not going to get the point. We got to sit him down for a while, let him go. I don't know if they got to go to the other wrestling circuit, the Midwest circuit or whatever. But they were going to send Shawn Michaels down, sit him down for a while because he was so messed up. So Shawn Michaels get up, and they said, first they were going to take away his ability to do his monologue. And they were like, we don't want to risk him not being able to function and do the monologue. So just have him just run out to the ring or have him get attacked or something where he can't do his monologue. And Shawn Michaels comes out of it and goes, hey, don't you ever tell me. He tells it to Vince, don't you ever tell me I can't go out there and do my job when I show up here every day. I've never missed a show. And I'll be damned if I miss one today. I'm going to do my job. Get the hell out of my way. Vince said, let him go. He already knows if he screws up, he's fired. And he's like, that's the way I like it. I like a-hole Vince. Don't try to baby me, Vince. I want a-hole Vince every time. That's the Vince I like. Be an a-hole. So he loved that. He killed his monologue. Went out there and had one of the greatest matches of his life. Everybody was cheering. He bled up a storm. He kept getting up. And people were shocked how he kept kicking out. Every time he kicked out of 1, 2, he kicked out of it. Everybody was eating it up. He bled all over the place. And Shawn Michaels was winning over the crowds because his matches were just that great. And when this transformation started to happen, you started to see a little tectonic shift. And once the tectonic shift started to go that way, Vince and him became like tight. Like, this is it. We're the clique. Me and you, buddy, all the way. So this whole transition is going down. Bret Hart's like, you know what? We got to get rid of Shawn Michaels. And once he found out that they were going to have him lose the title and give it to Shawn Michaels again, he was pissed. He was really pissed. So he was going to go over there to WCW because he wasn't going to deal with this anymore. He didn't want to deal with Vince. He wanted out of wrestling, period. He just really was angry. Lost his professionalism. And I mean, that was an embarrassment to wrestling, what he did that night. You don't do that. You don't ever lose your professionalism as a wrestler, no matter what your problem is with the business. When you're in that squared circle, you have to perform. And you have to do it on the best level there is. So now, Bret's gone. And Davey Boy is still there. And he's like, don't worry, I'm kicking Shawn Michaels A tonight. We're going to go out and party. I'm going to start a fight. And I'm going to kick the you-know-what out of him. The only problem is Shawn hangs out with Nash and all those type of guys that, those used to be his running buddies. Now he's got other running buddies that he's hanging with, like Triple H and all these other guys that's still in the the league. So they're not going to let that go down. So at this time, he couldn't do anything. The Bridge Bulldog, gets into it with, once he finds out what's going on, he gets hot, he gets mad, he's pissed at what happened with Bret. He tried to fight Shawn Michaels, called him a coward because Shawn Michaels wouldn't come out and fight him. And he was mad because Sonny was basically leaving him to go to the, you know, the Heartbreak Kid. And that leads us to our second part that's coming right up, where this continues. Because the British Bulldog told Vince McMahon, if you don't do something about Shawn Michaels, I'm leaving. Vince said, it was great having you. Thank you for your service. So the Bulldog left and went to WCW. And Vince saw once Shawn Michaels got injured to the point where he was out for a while, and that was basically it. And no one knew if he was going to come back. His back was messed up really bad. You know, he had already served a suspension. They say he had a knee injury when he was just whacked out of his mind on drugs. So he can, rehab, get himself back together. And when he came back, he got a back injury or a knee injury or something like that. And his knee was messed up, his back was messed up, and it was the Stone Cold era. At that point, Stone Cold was going to hold things down. Why Shawn Michaels was pretty much, his back was done. He had to have back surgery. So when he was out, they were like, okay, Vince knew I got to get this problem underway. And we're going to go into the second level in the next one because Davey Boy left, and once Shawn Michaels was gone, once Sonny, the Tami Sonny left, then British Bulldog came back to the WWE. He came back once they were gone. Once the cancer was out of WWE, they came back. But there's a part two to this that you guys need to hear about, involving the Heartbreak Kid and Ahmad, the strongest man, Ahmad Johnson, the strongest man, and the former Intercontinental Champion too. He's probably the only brother that had that belt, or at least was the first. But yeah, Ahmad, the big Ahmad. We're gonna have a whole thing on that next because this video is going too long. Yep, almost the same time as before. I'm out. This is funny.